Pain train, pain train, pain train, pain train. No. This is Marcus Aurelius Maximus, the Emperor. Join me for Cowboys Imperial Report, where we'll talk about the Cowboys game with the Minnesota Vikings in the NFC Divisional Playoffs. And I got an article from some guy named Doogie Wolfson from the Minnesota Star-Ledger that needs to be ripped to shreds. So keep it right here on Cowboys Imperial Report. Welcome to Cowboys Imperial Report. Let's get things rolling. We know that the Cowboys are facing the Vikings this Sunday at noon on Cowboys Standard Time on Fox. And interestingly enough, we're going to get Joe Buck and Troy Aikman calling the action. I thought they would be with the Saints and the Cardinals because technically that is the number one game in the NFC. I know as far as us Cowboys fans go, this game against the Vikings is the number one game in the NFC, and we'll see what happens. If we beat the Vikings and the Cardinals beat the Saints, then we will host the NFC Championship game in Jerry World. But I don't really think that these Dallas Cowboys even care so much about that as much as they do playing good football. And people have been curious about these Cowboys. They been wondering, are they letting the success get to their heads? I don't think they are, because even after the game, some of the players were saying we got to play Minnesota. They're a tough football team, and we just have to get ready for them. So it doesn't seem that they're content with this win over the Eagles. Flozell Adams, who's for this first time he won a playoff game, he's not even content with that win. He wants more. And I think that's true for the rest of the team. I blame Keith Brooking for that. So, as far as injuries goes, Pat Watkins, the usual suspect. Marion Barber has a sore knee, and he was limited in practice yesterday. But I think he's going to be ready to play. That was according to Wade Phillips' press conference on Wednesday as well, and that's his home state up there in Minnesota. So he's going to have the folks come in and everything, and I think he's going to play if he's able to play. So that's what's going on the injury front. Antoine Winfield of the Minnesota Vikings is also injured. He has a cracked bone in his foot or whatever. So he's going to be out there. He's going to be playing in the nickel, but he's going to be limited, and that's already bad for a team like the Vikings that already has a suspect secondary, even when he was healthy. So I look for Tony Romo and Miles Austin to hook up early and often. And if nothing else, who's going to cover Jason Witten? Bing, we'll just dump it off to him. But if nothing else, when I watch the games and we get the ball and it's first down, I'm always saying, run the ball, run the ball, run the ball. We get down near the goal line, pound the rock, pound the rock, pound the rock. I would prefer to run the football as well in this game rather than, just air it out. Let's run the football, establish the run, so we can set up the play-action pass, which is what Tony Romo does best. Brett Favre, they say, he guaranteed a victory over us this Sunday. I don't know how he guaranteed a victory. He said, I would be shocked if we're not here next week having this same press conference. That was a guarantee? Really? Really? I don't think he was guaranteeing anything, but we can still help him have that press conference next week. They can have the post-game press conference of when they lose, and he can talk about, it was a great season, and, things are the way they are. I know we were supposed to hate Brett Favre, and in the 90s I did, but then when his father died, somewhere in the 03 season when he started to become the old guy, is when I started to admire Brett Favre a little more. But certainly this Sunday, like Romo, You know, all admiration is off. He's the enemy, and we got to beat him this Sunday, and I think we can. Their offensive tackles, one is a rookie, the other one is injured or something. What we have to do, McKinney and Lodeholt, those are their names. McKinney, the left tackle, Lodeholt, the right tackle. Ware and Spencer have to get around them. And we have a thing where we move Spencer and Ware around, so it's not just, you know, like monomaniacal going after one tackle. If we can get around them and we can pressure Brett Favre, I think we'll have a good chance of winning this game. AccuScore here, they say that the Dallas Cowboys are going to lose to the Minnesota Vikings 27-24. Romo will complete 23 for 35, 259 yards, 2 touchdowns. Adrian Peterson on 18 carries will have 70 yards and not even a touchdown. But that's odd, because you'd think if we hold Adrian Peterson to only 70 yards on 18 carries, we should win the game. As well we should. But it gets even weirder when you look at what Madden did. I don't know what the Madden AccuScore thing is. I don't know what that is. They get a bunch of geeks sitting around playing Madden, and then they come up with a score. I mean, I don't know how these things work. But in this one, the Cowboys beat the Vikings 27-24. And this has been pretty much the same stats for Romo. But Adrian Peterson here carries the ball 21 times for 111 yards, yet we still win somehow. They say we beat them because we score 17 points in the fourth quarter to shock Brett Favre 27-24 in one of the most memorable comebacks in NFL history here. So I don't know. I don't believe these things. You know, I only believe what I see. So I got to see what happens this Sunday. We got immediate here. Darren Doogie Wolfson out of the Star Ledger. I believe that's the where this screed was published. Anyway, the title of his article is Vikings fans, America's team should be your most despised. Why? Then you read down in the article, raised by a diehard Eagles fan. That's why he's doing this. He's a carpetbagger, trying to infect his hate on the poor people of Minnesota there. Well, here's another gem from his article. More of it is a perceived inferiority complex that exists with the Cowboys fan base. They love being called America's team. So if you root for the Vikings on Sunday, are you anti-American? Yes, you are. America's team. America's team. The mediates gave us that name. NFL Films gave us that name back in 1978, Doogie. I see why they threw you off at Doogie Howser. They canceled your show, you carpetbagger, you. Then now I know it. This is how I know he's a carpetbagger. Dallas has a winning record against the Vikings in overtime games, 2-1. Has won the lone NFC Championship matchup. No, we didn't. I know you're talking about in 1977. That's true. But the first time these teams met in the playoffs, the NFC Championship game, I mean, was in 1973 in Texas Stadium. The Vikings beat us 27-10. So there was no lone NFC Championship matchup. Oh, what a bunch of garbage here. Doogie. Who? Play me some music here. Go on. Play some music.
Let's get the party going. Let's get the party going. When it's time to party, we will always party hard. Party hard.
Wait, hold it. Listen to this. This is an article written by John Krewazewski from the Associated Press. And it's an article about the Minnesota Vikings having a better kicking game than the Dallas Cowboys. I got no problem with that. I got a problem with what Krewazewski writes here when he puts quarterback Tony Romo, who famously botched a hold that cost the Cowboys a playoff win over Seattle in 2007, an error unto itself, but that's not what I'm really mad about, reluctantly returned to holding duty only a month ago. Reluctantly. I love this here. Yeah, so if you give blood, that's reluctantly. So to this idiot, the word volunteer transliterates in his mind to the word reluctantly. You piece of garbage, you. AP Sports writer Jamie Aaron in Irving, Texas, contributed to this report. Evidently, she didn't contribute enough to tell this dope that Romo volunteered to return to holding snaps. Who needs them? Here's what you need to know. Cowboys win over the Vikings 24-20. I said it on Cowboys Imperial Report. Watch my channel tomorrow because I'm going to do an impression of Cowboys Bill. We hope you get better, Cowboy Bill. We need you back for the fight. God save the Cowboys and God bless the CNS.